And we are live. Welcome back, Crypto Warriors, to another AMA. Today we have Libre DeFi in the
What's
house.
up,
That's
man?
right. We're about to hear all things Libre DeFi from one of their team members, Julian, here with us. Welcome to the show, Julian.
Thanks, man. Thanks for having me.
Let's go ahead and just jump right into it because I know we're about to
Cool.
have a ton of questions from our audience.
For sure.
First and foremost, briefly, can you tell us what Libra DeFi is and how did you begun, how did you create the project?
Yeah, so Libra, I mean, the ethos of our project really is to create a one-stop shop for all things DeFi and trying to kind of simplify the space for new retail users. I mean, DeFi specifically, but crypto in general is super, super overwhelming. So one of the things that we really want to do is combine all of these really cool offerings that DeFi has and put it under one roof and make it easily accessible, really transparent. So, I'm one of the founders. We're face forward. All of our developers are face forward. We're in the Telegram chat every day answering DMs. So basically creating, a welcoming atmosphere, one-stop shop and transparency in DeFi. So, and we're starting to branch out onto a couple other things too. We've got an NFT drop actually coming up in April, which is taking some elements from DeFi and combining the two and kind of creating a cool little marriage between NFTs and DeFi, which doesn't really exist at the moment. So,
Oh man. All right, we're going to get into it. First and foremost, what's the background? Are you a developer by trade? And of course, how did you get into Bitcoin and cryptocurrency itself?
yeah, so I'm actually not I'm not a developer. I'm more on like the business side of things. So my background, education, business development, tech. I've worked in fintech for quite a while as well. But business development is really kind of my bread and butter. The other founder, Josh, we've actually been best friends since we were like 10 years old. So we've known each other for a couple of decades, really long time. But he's more on the web development side. So he does a lot of like our UI, our UX design. And then we've got a couple other developers from Canada as well, Prince and Danny and Ray, who are with us as our like our lead developers. So we're a almost exclusively Canadian team.
Oh,
And then
I
in
got a
terms
lot.
of
I'll go ahead.
yeah,
I got a lot of Canadian questions for you. But yeah, how did you get into
yeah.
Bitcoin and crypto?
So one of my first, I mean, I've kind of loosely been like a holder for a while. I mean, since like 2016, 17, but wasn't like super like well versed on it. And then I remember one of my friends actually, the way I started getting like obsessed with this was with crypto in general was one of my friends introduced me to Tron, which was supposed to be like the next thing that was going to make everybody millionaires, and that's how I started kind of dipping my toes into it and started getting a little bit more acclimated to other projects. I mean, I've been a huge ETH proponent for a really long time, and it kind of also like is what sort of brought about this passion for DeFi for me. 2020 was when I really started like absorbing the DeFi space. That DeFi summer was really the barrier that broke it for me, and that really got me deep into crypto.
So, okay, so you started getting into it, of course. And it's always funny hearing the intro stories. Everybody do come. Some of you actually came to market from BitConnect that brought a lot of people to the
Yeah,
market. And so
yeah.
it's crazy how people come. So you come into the market and did you see something was missing? What said, at this point, what made you all say, we need to do something on DeFi?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think just in general, like even in the early days getting involved, it wasn't easy to buy crypto, to hold crypto, to really figure out anything about it. Even before I got into DeFi, but with the DeFi space, I remember that summer of 2020, just like I'm on Telegram groups 24/7. I'm in Discord 24/7. I'm on Twitter, like doing all the cash tags 24/7. I'm trying to figure out what's a rug, what's not a rug. And it was just like consuming a very time consuming thing. It's 24/7. And like I'll admit that summer I probably got rugged like 100 times. I made some really good investments, but there's a lot of stuff that just like was there for 12 hours and then disappeared. And so me and Josh, when we were really diving into this, we saw a need for something that kind of simplifies the space a little bit, that brings some transparency, that is more inclusive. Like I think for me, like the overwhelming thing with DeFi is there's just so much to comprehend. It's not always the most welcoming space. And we saw an opportunity to maybe change that a little bit. And the thing is too, a lot of the world is either underbanked or unbanked, and I think that DeFi can really break down a lot of those barriers. So I think it's just about getting more people involved in it.
All right, so let's talk about Libre DeFi, the project, your complete multi-chain decentralized ecosystem. Libre is accelerating the adoption of DeFi for the masses by reducing the barriers to entry and providing a full suite of services. So, in depth, what is, for the common man or woman out there, what is Libre? We've been getting more DeFi projects on. So, what is Libre and how does it differentiate from some of the other ones that are out there?
Yeah, so right now, like in our first version 1 form, we're a decentralized exchange, a farming protocol, and staking. One of the cool things about our farming protocol, I was kind of mentioning to you before the call, is it's a single asset entry farm. So for most protocols, you have to buy 2 different assets. You have to deposit them into a liquidity pool, and then you have to deposit them into a farm, and all these complicated steps. Whereas for us, if you see there, you click add liquidity, you deposit BNB or BUSD, and then our protocol does the rest for you. So it'll take half of that BNB, purchase Libre. So there's always a constant buy pressure on Libre every time somebody jumps into the pool. It wraps the LP tokens, brings them back to our DEX, deposits them, and you start earning right away. So that was one of the cool things we thought up of with a couple of our developers. Just like this easy way to get into yield farming that's not super overwhelming. V2 of our farms, which is launching in the middle of April, is going to be a lot more like, a lot more user friendly as well. We're really honing down on the UI and the UX. So that's one of the really cool things. But in terms of like our roadmap in general, we also have a launch pad coming up. So users are going to be able to stake their Libre tokens to earn allocations to launch pads. We've got an NFT drop coming up. We're launching our own stablecoin as well, which users are going to be able to farm. And it's going to be backed 1-to-1 with the US dollar. So a lot of really exciting things. I know when I talk about this, a lot of people I talk to are just like, whoa, you guys have so much stuff going on, which is true. But I mean, that's kind of the goal, is to create a platform that gives people the ability to stay in one place. You find Libre DeFi, and then that's it. That's your ticket into DeFi, and you never really have to leave.
All right. So to start, I will say this again. Like we've had multiple, couple of DeFi projects. One thing I'm noticing in the trend, which of course I think is just the maturation of DeFi, is you all are now creating these protocols that reduce the steps. So thank you for that, hand clap.
Yeah,
And this is a big one. So for those who are new, who don't know what staking and farming is, of course, you can check out our masterclass. We go in depth on that, but essentially it's just ways to put your crypto to work. And you're right. For me personally, I don't really do a lot of stuff on BSC and some of the other blockchains. Like you said, it's just like so many steps. Like literally you spend 2, 3, 4 hours just to actually get your value or your capital onto these platforms, and then the same amount of steps to take them off. So I will say, just looking at this, I love the fact that you can just add liquidity here and the protocol does the rest. So that's pretty cool to see. How long have you all been in operation?
So we launched on November 11th. So we launched with our farms, our staking, and our token first. And then we introduced the decentralized exchange. We also just did a partnership with Indicoin, which is a fiat to crypto on-ramp. So basically right now you can come to our DApp, you can use your credit card or your bank account, and you can buy a ton of different cryptos plus Libre right with your credit card. So again, that's just one of those pain points that I think retail kind of has an issue with. So yeah, we've been around for like 5 months now, and we're starting to kind of find that groove. I mean, we unfortunately launched when Bitcoin kind of hit that cycle top. So, but yeah, we're building every day, and we've got tons of cool stuff in the roadmap.
So the token itself, what is the token used for on your platform?
So right now, that's kind of one of the issues, is that the utility itself for the token hasn't really like expanded yet. The first couple months was really for us about like liquidity mining incentives, getting the token into actual users' hands. As we move forward, the biggest use case, in my opinion, will be our stablecoin farming. So you're going to be able to use your Libre tokens. You can deposit them into stablecoin vaults, and then you can earn USDL based on how much you deposit. So essentially, we'll have like a cluster of stablecoin vaults varying from 30% APR to 100% APR, 30-day lockups, a year lockup. You buy your Libre, you deposit it in, and then you earn a guaranteed return on stablecoins. So that's one of the really cool things that I'm looking forward to. And then as we launch our launchpad as well, you need Libre tokens to get allocations for the launchpad. Our play to earn gaming arcade as well will be focused on Libre. So basically, you can only play the games if you deposit Libre as a form of payment. So the good thing is we have a really small supply, and the majority of it, like now that we've kind of launched and our ecosystem's out there a little bit more, now this is where the real utility kind of starts picking up, and the tokens are going to get more scarce as well. We're going to be burning a lot coming up as well. So.
Okay, and then the actual underlying stablecoin token, what are some things it's backed by? We just saw how like Terra's in the news, they're buying Bitcoin to back it. What are some of the assets you all use to back yours?
So actually, we're going to be backing it specifically with cash and other stable coins. So mostly USDC and probably Terra as well. But basically, our platform itself generates fees on everything. So transaction fees, deposit fees, withdrawal fees. Basically, anytime a user comes into our ecosystem, it does generate revenue for the business. And then we use a portion of that revenue to back the stable coins. So for example, if we've got $2 million in our treasury, there can only be 2 million USDL ever minted. So there'll never be more USDL in circulation than is actually backed in our treasury. And I think that's the one thing that was really important to us, because it's not always necessarily super clear what backs, specific stable coins. So creating an environment where users can literally just check a wallet, see how much is in there, and then they can, rest assured that it's backed by something. So,
yeah, what's going on, Michael Kenny? Michael Kenny is in the DeFi DGen market as well. Yep, he said it looks like you all are taking on a huge amount of work. So, yeah, high risk, high reward. High risk, high reward. What are your thoughts? Tell us about these partnerships. I'm looking. You got some pretty incredible partnerships, of course, with Polygon, Gate.io, Chainlink here. Tell us about these partnerships and some of the backers as well. I'm always curious to how people get some of these big backers.
Yeah. So Gate was one of the first exchanges that reached out to us that wanted to list us. So they've been really, really cool with us. We did like a little airdrop thing with them when we first launched as well. Polygon, we actually got the developers grant from them when we started building.
Congratulations.
So yeah. So they're smaller grants, but they give it out to different projects who are building on their platform. So back in October, we got accepted for that, which was really cool. Chainlink, we're integrated with Chainlink as well. So we use oracles, the price oracles from them, as well as their VRF technology. So for example, for our NFT drop, we're doing an airdrop. We use that technology to create the randomized event using Chainlink technology. So you can go to their official channels too. They've tweeted us out and put us in a Medium article and stuff, which was really cool. That for me, was pretty cool to see our name on like the Chainlink socials. Indacoin, again, there are fiat to crypto on-ramps. So they're the guys who kind of provide that KYC for people to buy Libre with their credit card. And then a couple of these other ones too, I'll just quickly mention. Avarta is really cool. It's like a really, really, really secure DeFi wallet. So they haven't launched yet. I actually met the guys back in Miami when we were there for Decentral, but they haven't launched yet. But they're a really cool team. They're backed by Binance Labs. And then Moonlight Token, they're really, really cool too. They have this thing called bubble maps where you basically can break down every transaction in every wallet for multiple coins and see like where tokens are coming from, where they're going to. You can go to the developer's wallet. It's really, really just like creates a very transparent view for tokens. So you can find us on there too, and you can see every single transaction that's ever happened within our tokens.
Ooh, so now that is amazing. We throw that in. Yeah. There's some government funding out there. Yeah, there we go. Now we know.
Yeah.
Same with these backers. I mean, you got some incredible backers. I see Moonrock Capital, ATM Ventures, Magnus. How was this process? I know you're the business mind of the team. So how was that process as well?
It was cool, man. I mean, it's definitely, I've been a part of a couple different startups before and, been in the fundraising kind of atmosphere. It's totally different in crypto. It's just different. It's just a weird thing, especially when the market's flush, like everybody wants to jump into projects. So you really have to do your due diligence. I was taking calls for like a month straight with tons of different investors, talking for hours on end about, the project and what they could bring to the table. And a lot of them have been really great. I mean, Marshland is one that I really want to shout out. They've been just like incredible partners to us. They're investors, but they're also advisors on the project as well. And they've just been like with us every step of the way. So and a lot of these other investors, GAF Capital, Magnus as well, Modify, they've all been like really hands-on, and it's nice. It's nice to have, people who have been in the space for a really long time to lean on when you have those questions.
Going back to the project. So Michael Kennedy said reducing steps is great, but it's very risky. So what kind of auditing or steps have been taken to mitigate the risk of handling all their steps with the protocol?
Yeah, so we're actually fully audited by Certic and NonceBlocks. So NonceBlocks was our first audit that we did. They audited the token, all the smart contracts for the farms, the DEX, all that stuff. Certic, we did an audit with them after, so all of our contracts are audited. And then we're also part of the Skynet program with Certic, which is really cool. It's basically like a 24/7 monitoring of your smart contracts. So if you go to the link on our website, the Certic audit is there. It's basically constantly monitoring for any vulnerabilities and things like that. So that's a big thing for us. I mean, all of our contracts will always be audited by at least 2 teams. We'll be with Certic under the Skynet program for the foreseeable future, because it just gives us that, like, 24/7 kind of.
I remember when they came out, everybody was like, Skynet.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, the Terminator reference, right?
Right. It was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Let's see what's going on. Everybody join the chat. Please drop your questions in there. You all say you want different parts of the market. Here is one, a new DeFi platform. They also have a stable coin to go with it. So make sure you check them out. Let's see what else. I'm looking at the comments real quick. So we were talking before. What's one of the most, I guess, notable things that your project has that you're doing right now?
I think coming up, like the thing that we're really promoting right now is the NFT drops. So for me, this is really actually an important part of the platform, and I think we're going to spend a lot of time on it because NFTs are one of those things that, like, that is what's bringing retail into crypto. There's a lot of people who just don't know anything about crypto, but they know NFTs, and I think there's like a disconnect between NFTs as like just these cool pictures that you can maybe make a couple bucks off of trading, and then actually the utility that they can bring. So our first NFT drop, basically all of the NFTs have utility baked into the smart contracts. So for example, you mint your NFT, you can earn a higher percentage boost on our LP farms, for example. So you have maybe like the leopard print bear with the grills, that gives you 120% boost on your LPs. You pair them together, and then you basically earn more rewards based on that. So it's creating utility there. Also, the NFTs will give you like first dibs at launchpad allocations. It'll give you better percentages on your stablecoin yield. Basically, everything that we develop moving forward as a platform, if you own one of these NFTs, it's essentially your all access pass to our platform, and it'll give you tons of different benefits with it. And I think that that's the way that NFTs are going anyway, is if they're not going to just be a cool picture and like a status symbol. I think like having that actual utility behind it is the next step forward. So
when it comes to the NFT market, right now it's been like a free for all. I know the Biden administration finally said they're going to start at least looking at them. What are your thoughts on regulations? Maybe not just with NFTs, but with the entire DeFi market as well. I think honestly, NFTs save the DeFi market to take the attention off it. But you guys are doing the same. You're doing two within one. So what are your thoughts on regulations and in life moving forward for your project?
Yeah, I mean, the thing is that regulations are coming whether we like it or not. It's just the way it is. So I think that is going to hurt a lot of projects most likely. But I think the projects who do things above board and who start doing things above board from the day they launch are going to be the ones that kind of have some legs in the market. So for us, we're fully registered company. We pay our taxes. We basically do everything above board, and as regulations kind of keep sweeping in, we'll just kind of flow with the punches, and we'll do what we have to do because and with the stable coin as well, right? Like stable coins are going to get regulated, and I think it's the ones that aren't necessarily backed by anything transparent that might be in some trouble. So we're trying to do things as above board as possible, and that'll probably be different 12 months from now and 24 months from now. And I think the landscape's going to constantly change, but we're ready to kind of roll with those regulatory punches.
So one thing people always want to know is like the level of decentralization. Since you do have the company, the protocol, just to be clear, the protocol itself is decentralized.
It is, yeah. I mean, that's always a tricky thing too. Like DeFi in general, I think like you can make the argument that nothing is really decentralized.
Nothing is fully decentralized, right?
Yeah, I mean, even with Bitcoin, right? Like you can make that argument to a lesser extent, but we're about as decentralized as you can be. But at the same time, like if you buy Libre through our Indocoin partnership, you still got a KYC. So there are things that aren't maybe the most decentralized. But again, I think that's the way DeFi is going to be going, right? I think decentralized finance is going to be more of a term and less like literal, because there are going to be layers of decentralization that just don't exist under the current landscape.
But to actually use your platform, so if somebody were to go on launch the app on Libre, defi.io, they don't need to really do any signups. It just connects to the wallet, correct?
Yeah, you just go right through MetaMask on whichever chain you choose. And I mean, right now you can do literally everything without any sort of KYC, unless you want to, take advantage of that Intercoin partnership. But other than that, it's completely decentralized.
Cool. Reno Gamble, what's going on? Do you see a lot of Wall Street types coming in to try to take over the DeFi space or put their financial models to somehow steer DeFi back to CeFi, especially with some of these venture capitalists you work with?
I do, yeah. I think that as DeFi kind of grows, because right now I mean, crypto is an immature industry. DeFi is a super immature industry. I mean, the market cap is like 170 billion
Wild
or
West
something like
doesn't
that.
begin to explain it. The people don't even know.
Absolutely, absolutely. Like
If it's like if you don't have this isn't the space to, yeah, you got to be careful over here.
Absolutely. I mean, it's super untapped. And I think, as it continues to grow, I mean, there are already eyes on it. And I do think that, the big investment bankers and the more traditional VCs and things like that will definitely start dipping their toes in it. I mean, I know for us personally, like we've also talked about doing traditional raises as well that don't just exist within like a crypto cap table for the company itself, and doing raises outside of that in more TradeFi. And there's a lot of interest there. There's a lot of interest from like traditional VCs, which I think is actually good for the space because it'll bring more money. It'll bring, it'll allow more projects to develop the things they want to develop. So I don't necessarily think it's a bad thing, but as long as it's in moderation.
It definitely would be good for liquidity pools and market makers for sure. I mean,
Absolutely.
yeah, at the end of the day, yeah, even when we get, whether it's 5 or 500 new DeFi projects, as long as the standard becomes like, no, like this actually has a pot of money for real from a company who's willing to wait to see how this thing matures. So I agree with you. I do think that's an important part because if it's just what it has been, which is the degens like myself who are just chasing the farm or the APR or whatever, then yeah, of course you're going to jump. Once everybody finds out about it, you're like, all right, party's over, guys. Like,
exactly.
Maybe the party's not over, but it's 1 a.m. It's time for me to go. Like, it's not where it used to be. So for sure, I think that would help. Let's see. And just be clear, you're running on Binance Smart Chain, correct?
Binance, Avalanche, and Polygon. So all
Binance.
three. And then,
so there we go. Reno Gamble, which blockchain? They run on Binance, Avalanche, and Polygon. Wow.
And the goal is to be as multi-chain as possible. So ETH is in the near future. The reason why we didn't launch on ETH first, especially like when we did launch, gas fees were just insane, right? And like if our narrative is to, appeal to a more retail focus and, people who don't really have a ton of experience, it's really hard to justify like, hey, come deposit in our farms, $100 in our farms and pay $100 transaction fee, right? So we wanted to start on the faster, less transaction fee chains first. But
what do you think the biggest challenge from the community has been? What's been the best thing you've seen from the community as well?
Yeah, I think the challenge, and I echo this too. I mean, like it's no secret. You look at our chart, and our chart has been in a downtrend since the beginning of December. And when people get into projects, I mean, they expect
that's normal though for a lot of projects, to be fair.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, it's definitely like, I mean, there's reasons for it for sure. I mean, our emissions when we first launched were really high. So, people were just getting their farming rewards and selling them. And the utility wasn't necessarily there as much. And we had a couple hiccups off the bat as well. But so I think that's been challenging. It's challenging to, because like I said, I mean, especially when you're in DeFi, the goal isn't to, just support a project long-term necessarily. It's to make it 10x or 20x and then bounce. So that can be kind of frustrating sometimes as well, because, our focus has been on, development first and foremost. And now we're starting to do more of the marketing and things like that. But the really cool thing is like we have a really awesome community. Like, I mean, I've talked to a lot of these people in our community on like FaceTime and on voice calls and, DMs, just like personal DMs and stuff like that. So we have a really supportive community. It's not huge, it's growing every day, but I think the biggest thing has just been like, it's really nice to just see people who are like involved and passionate about your project as much as you are, right? So that's been the coolest thing, man. I really, really appreciate our community because they've really kept me sane throughout this process. So
yeah, Michael Kennedy said most of the market's been on a downtrend since November, December. Yep. So it was just kind of timing that probably hit you all as well. So of course, quarter two, it looks like, of course, you say you have this NFT drop coming. Farming, governance. I mean, you all are working on a lot right here in quarter two, and then quarter three, you'll have this play to earn RPG. So it looks like this year will just be mostly developing and building as well, correct?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I really don't know what the next 9 months are going to be like with the market. So our goal is to, take advantage of marketing when the market's up and do some marketing when people are, foaming at the mouth to buy new projects. And then when that's not happening, we're just going to keep our head down and build. Because our goal has always been to be here long term. I mean, we're creating a business. We're not just trying to, have a flash in the pan kind of crypto. So.
That's what I was going to ask you too. I was like, how long do you plan to be here? But you answered it.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be here until they have to force me out. So I'm not going anywhere.
Do you have any preference over the blockchains you all have been using between Binance, Avalanche, and Polygon?
I mean, I'm a really big Avalanche guy personally. I think the team at Avalanche is awesome. I've been in contact with a couple people at Avalabs and stuff like that as well. So I really like Avalanche. I love Polygon as well. Polygon has been like, really great to us with the developer grant. I'm just giving you a very like canned response, I think, because I'm gonna say as well, BC I love, or BSC I love as well, right? But I would say like I love all of them equally. They all offer different things. BSC for us has kind of been, that's been where the volume's at. So that's kind of, where a lot of our focus has been. But yeah, all three have been great.
All right, let's excite our community, because I know they like to see numbers really quick. Just want to go back to these farms and this staking and everything. How has the process been for this for everyone? Has there been any issues as far as whether you're onboarding or offboarding crypto? Is it you have to wait 2 days? Like, what's the process? Is it pretty easy?
Yeah, it's pretty easy. I mean, you deposit, you can withdraw your rewards anytime, as long as you basically for the withdrawal, we don't have a harvest function yet. That's coming out in volume 2, but you can withdraw your rewards daily if you want. As we move forward to our V2 of farming, though, it's going to be 7-day lockups on rewards, just to kind of curb some of the emissions. But yeah, it's been good. I mean, our TVL at the beginning when we first launched, the first like month was 2 or 3 million. So it's starting to get up there. It's decreased now just with every other protocol. The TVLs have decreased, but yeah, it's a really simple process. I mean, you can be staking, trading, and farming within 30 seconds after connecting to our DApp. So you can toggle between the networks seamlessly as well. So,
well, what I definitely like is, and again, for those DGens, of course, do your own research. But I mean, these are the percentages, especially I'm looking at the farm, the 291 and 306. I mean, you got to get it while it's getting good before it's gone. But no, it's pretty good. And as far as Libre, what platforms? I know you said Gate, but where else can people swap? Pancake swap, I see here. What other spaces can they swap for Libre?
Yeah, Pancake swap on BSC, Quick swap for Polygon, and then Trader Joe for Avalanche. And then this is how you bridge. So you can bridge your token as well. I mean, you can buy it on Avalanche, stake on Avalanche because the rewards are higher. And then if you want, because there's more liquidity on BSC, you can bridge those tokens over to BSC to do whatever you want with them. So multi-chains who we use as our bridge, which is also like a really great platform as well.
Nice. Okay, yeah. Let me look at the comments. Oh, seeing a lot of comments come in. Okay, how do you see the future of DeFi going, and how would you like to see your project impact the future of DeFi in the long term?
Yeah, I think, like I said before, I think DeFi is really just scratching the surface. I think there's something like $170 billion market cap of DeFi. If you look at wallets on Ethereum, there's only like 2% of wallets actually interact with yield farms and staking protocols. So I think that number is going to grow exponentially once people realize what benefits DeFi has to offer. When you realize that you can earn passive income, you can kind of be your own bank. You can take advantage of under collateralized loans, things like that. I think that's when DeFi will really start to mature. And I hope that we're, a leading part of that. I really hope that we're, a project that shows people that DeFi isn't necessarily the scariest thing in the world. And, you can get involved in it pretty easily, pretty quickly. And it's a welcoming community. So I mean, my goal is to be, the central figure in DeFi as we start to build. So with our platform. But
and for those also, one thing I will say is, so again, do your own research. But when I do look at these projects myself, I do see, of course, like you said, you guys came out, you had a huge dip. Of course, it looked like you had repumped a few days later, dipped again. Most of the overall market has dipped. But if this is something you are interested in, these are the times to get interested in. It's when the actual price is low, people aren't paying attention, and then you can have a lower risk as far as if you decide to go to some of these farms or you decide to stake. The risks are lower, the token is cheaper. And if you do turn out to be right in another 4 to 6 months, 8 months, whatever, you literally just been farming or mining or staking or whatever for a token that's like 2 cents. And we've already seen it at 35. Was it at 35 cents?
I think it peaked around 40 on Gate.
Yeah, okay. I am
So
seeing
we're
it's
like
almost at 40. You're right. So it's one of those
20x
things. If
down,
you believe in the project, it went from 40 cents down to 2 during the down market. If the market pumps back up, the project does well, they launch some NFTs, folks, you might be in for that bag that you love to talk about. So of course, do your own research on that. Let's see what else it look like. Everyone's asking, so what made you all choose these chains, even thinking of Ethereum over building on block or a Bitcoin blockchain?
Yeah, like I said, I mean, I think the barrier to entry for BSC, Polygon, and Avalanche is just not as severe as it is for for Ethereum. I know that Ethereum specifically is like the king of DeFi, and I think it always will be. But I do think that the chains that we launched on are a lot more retail focused. So we wanted to kind of do the reverse. A lot of projects go ETH to BSC. We're doing BSC, Avalanche, and Polygon, and then we'll do ETH once more money flows in, because that's where all the big money is at as well, is the Ethereum network. But again, our focus has been on the smaller guys more than anything else. So.
Do you have plans to develop synthetic asset baskets in the future? Thanks for that question, Adrian.
I don't know. That still remains to be seen. To be honest with you, I'll leave that as a TBD.
There we go. Well, it sounded like it was another project we had. Off the top of my head, I can't think of it, but they're in DeFi and they're looking to bridge that gap. So maybe you all partner up or something. We'll see, because you all are definitely bridging the gap from, like I said, I really like the fact that you don't have to jump around and bridge everything. You can just deposit the tokens and the protocol does it. So I will say I really like that as far as me being in the DeFi space. Like, and those who are really in the space know, like, this, it could be like this is a 3 to 5 hour assignment sometimes just to do things, at least for the first time, until you get in the groove of using the new platform. It's like, this could take a few hours. So the bridge itself, it was like, some bridges take 7 to 15 minutes on average to go one way, and then it's usually like 45 minutes to 2 hours to come back the other way. So you're literally getting 2 hours of time back by that. So that'd be pretty cool. Thanks, Michael Kennedy. What does this mean in regards to roles and responsibilities of a DeFi protocol in order to maintain the most optimal decentralized functionality? I'm assuming while still granting access to someone else to manage your cryptocurrencies.
Sorry, what?
Yeah, you kind of lost me on that one too, Michael. I guess I'm not sure what exactly he's saying. I don't know. I guess how do you all balance DeFi and regulation, I guess, maybe?
Yeah, I mean, I guess like the thing is we're non-custodial. So when he mentions like somebody else balancing your cryptocurrencies, I mean, you're still in control of, if you interact with our platform, you're in control of your cryptocurrencies. We're never in control of that. We don't have a custodial wallet. We are a decentralized app. So I guess I'm not really sure exactly what
No, okay. I think that's what he's asking. Yeah. So, okay, when it does come to things like TVL, everyone likes to talk about TVL on the platform. What are some things you all are doing to increase your liquidity pools to make sure that, hey, you guys, your money isn't the only money in this pot,
Yeah, I think I think a lot of that liquidity comes with price action and with people hearing about the protocol. But I'm hoping that within the next month or so, with the launch of the NFTs, it's new eyes on our protocol, new eyes into crypto in general, and then also with our V2 of farming, there's going to be different ways to get to our farm. So right now we have like the single asset entry, but you're also going to be able to combine different assets to jump into our farm as well. So you can do it like the more degen way, I guess. But I think the biggest thing with TVL is just eyes on the project. User acquisition is number one. One of the things that we are actually working on that I didn't mention before is something called farming as a service. So basically with our smart contracts, we can offer this one-click entry into a farm for any project, right? So for example, let's just say it was, I'll just use Chainlink because they're one of our integrations. Let's say Chainlink wanted to have a farm, and they wanted to have a Chainlink and USDC farm, and they wanted to give Chainlink tokens out as a reward. Basically, we can white label all that for them. So as long as they have a liquidity pool somewhere, we can basically replicate our smart contracts. So now their users come to our platform, they deposit whatever asset they want, the single asset, and they start earning rewards based on that. So for new projects, that's going to be something that I think is really beneficial, because a lot of projects want to have these liquidity mining incentives, but they don't necessarily want to develop the smart contracts. They don't want to get them audited. Audited can cost like $20,000 to $50,000. So this way, we're providing all of that for free, and then we're providing our users the ability to earn rewards in different tokens based on that. And then we're giving other projects, the ability to push their tokens out into the atmosphere as well. So that's going to be one big thing that, we're starting to get some boots on the ground in terms of business development, to have some of our team reach out to different projects that are just starting, so that we can start onboarding their users into our protocol as well.
Now that I have to give the hand clap too. There we go. I do. So the things that I really like, of course, so I'm on the NFT fringes. I make sure I'm well versed in it, but I dabble. Some of our other audience, they really are into it. But I do like, again, I like the fact that the way you can do your farms, how you can just insert the tokens and the protocol does the rest. But I think from a business point of view, now this could be huge. This could be huge for the token. Sure. And the actual platform and protocol. So I agree with you. Just looking at a mass scale, because right now you have to go search for farms for the most part. There's a couple of websites where it kind of has like, check this out. But for the most part, you have to search for farms. So yeah, if you do have a protocol or platform, you can have different farms on the same one, all connected through the protocol. That would be crazy. That's going to be amazing. One thing I will, of course, say with that, I mean, yeah, and I see you mentioned it within the first paragraph or the second paragraph about the audited smart contracts. I mean, goodness, they're going to have to be audited 10 times over again if you're going to be doing farming as a service, because that's literally going to put a target on you guys' back.
No, that's it. Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing. And that's the only reason why, we could have launched the farm as a service a little bit sooner, but for this particular thing, like we're going to get these things audited like 10, 12 times, because it's other protocols, liquidity that we're dealing with, and other users as well, right? So, as we start scaling that up, it's just going to be, we're going to make sure they're audited as much as they possibly can be. So
cool. Reno, thanks. Is Chainlink token at all being considered for the DeFi farming projects?
I mean, that was more just like an example I used, just in terms of like the Chainlink token is farming, but we are, like I said, we're integrated with them. So we use their VRF technology and their price oracles. How else we integrate that, I'm not entirely sure. We might have like farms that offer, a Chainlink pool or something like that. But at the moment, it's just that integration with the oracles.
Oh, okay. So it looks like the question was, they're saying, so basically you're kind of granting access. First, are you granting access to them to handle your funds by doing all the steps for you in the farms? That's what I guess they're wondering. They're saying, so if you deposit the BNB and the protocol takes over, then technically you're trusting the platform. Is that the way it works?
Yeah, exactly. So if you deposit your BNB, you're basically trusting that our smart contracts are then going to use half of that BNB to purchase the other asset, bring it back to our protocol, wrap it, and deposit it. So, based on the amount of transactions that our farms have done and the TVL being over a couple million at one point, we've had no issues. We actually did have an issue like the day after we launched. We had an issue with one of the farms. It wasn't a bug in ours necessarily. It was because we were taking liquidity from PancakeSwap, and somebody had drained that liquidity pool that we were using, like literally an hour before we launched the farm. So people were buying the tokens from there. I think it was like Bacon BUSD or something like that. But there's no liquidity in that farm. So people were paying like $100 for a bake token, when at that point it was like $2. So their slippage was just insane. So we ended up refunding like 65K, I think, to the users who were affected. And then we shut down that farm. But that was a good learning experience, because again, it showed us, we did a couple things differently. And, when you refund the community, when it's your mistake, it's always a good way to build trust, because that's kind of our number one thing. So
I think you actually just answered the next question from Reno Gamble. They were asking, how would you handle like a scam or a rug pull or bring a new token to DeFi? But it sounds like you always kind of answer. You seem to be community driven.
For sure. Yeah, absolutely.
So for new people listening, so they just heard about, Libre DeFi. They're interested in the staking, farming, NFTs, but it's so much going on. Where would you tell a new user to get started? Where would you redirect everyone to?
Honestly, I would personally come into our Telegram. I'm in there every day. We've got really great mods. My co-founder as well, Josh, is in there very frequently. So if you have any questions, I would say, dabble around in the dApp a little bit, maybe deposit like $100 into a farm just to kind of see what it's like. Go to PancakeSwap, look at the charts, go to CoinGecko, go to Dex Tools, do all of that stuff. I mean, all of the resources and things like that. Check out our audits. That's all on our website. And make sure you do the research and see that we are who we say we are. And then, like I said, come into our Telegram and, hit me up in my DMs or on my Twitter account, whatever it happens to be. And any questions that maybe didn't get answered from our website or from our resources page, we're happy to answer. So I would say Telegram is the best place to go. Telegram or Discord is the best place to go to talk with us directly.
And we'll definitely put all of that in the description as well. I'm seeing here, it's like the phone. Are you on the, you have a phone app as well?
We're not yet. So that's the, this would just be like, these are just screenshots from MetaMask on your phone. But okay. the plan in the future is to do an app as well. Because that's one of those pain points, I think, with DeFi as well, right? Is having to like go through the process of getting MetaMask and set up that way. So having a decentralized app is something that we're working on as well for the mobile.
And any hint as to when these Libre Animal Farm NFTs will be dropping? Yeah,
so I'm going to say tentatively right now, April 9th to 14th. That is the tentative date. So one thing that I should mention, we are going to do an airdrop to 50 users. So we're basically going to do a snapshot of wallets. Any user with more than 20,000 Libre tokens has a chance to get one of those NFTs airdropped to them. So if you're currently staking or if you're thinking of buying, we'll probably do that snapshot by the weekend. So if you have 20,000 tokens in your wallet, you're eligible for that. And then when we do mint, what we're doing is you can either pay in BNB or you can pay in Libre tokens. So if you mint with Libre tokens, you'll get 2 NFTs for 1. We're hoping that puts a lot of also utility kind of on the token with this NFT drop. It's basically a free NFT if you pay with your Libre tokens. And then once all those Libre tokens are accrued from the mint, we're going to burn them from the circulation. So this will also be a deflationary event as well. It'll take hopefully a good chunk of tokens out of circulation. So
okay. And what's the circulating supply as well? Was it 100 million?
So the total max supply is 100 million. The current circulating is like 17.1. So I think if like we went right through our tokenomics with every unlock schedule with investors and foundation and this and that, I think it would take about 2.5 years to get to that 100 million in circulation. And once that max supply is reached, that's all they'll ever be. And the goal is to bring that down as well as we go by creating these kind of deflationary events. So.
Okay, and then the last few, I guess so the question when it comes to these smart contracts, is there someone that can control the limits, or does anyone have admin rights of the smart contracts? For example, when you're depositing BNB, they're saying like, is there a pause button where if everything goes wrong, you can pause that smart contract? How does that work?
Yeah, so we do have, so that was one of the things, when I said with that little bug that we had at the beginning, there was, we had to basically pause the farm and do an emergency withdrawal. So we basically users had to go into the back end. We basically walked them through the steps of doing that so they can move their LPs over. So there is the ability, I mean, like our devs, that's one thing with having transparent, like face forward devs is that, they do have a little bit more control over some of the functions of smart contract when it comes to like reducing emissions and changing percentages of returns and things like that. But yeah, we do have that capability to pause if there was a bug and, one of the pools got compromised.
All right, folks, this is Libre DeFi. Again, you can check them out at libredefi.io. We will have all the links in the description. Check out that Libre DeFi token as well. Those farms, that staking. I mean, there's a lot going on there. Like I said, I do like this protocol that you all have, and I definitely like the farm. Yeah, farms as a service. I know it's a lot of work. When will you all be launching that one as well?
So the goal is to do it right as V2 launches. So the V2 of our farms will launch with our NFTs, so middle of April. And then once V2 is up, that's going to be the farms that we offer as like farming as a service because it'll be just more functional. So we're hoping that our business development team can start kind of just pounding the pavement within the next couple of weeks. And by the end of April, we can start onboarding some new projects into the platform.
And I'm assuming this, but just to be clear, the farming as a service, you'll be essentially charging these other projects, or you'll have your Libre fees included, right?
Yeah. So I think what we don't really want to do off the bat is like charge a fee to the project.
Go crazy.
Like we're still a small project too, right? So I feel like a small project paying another small project in fees, like we can just help each other out by not, draining treasuries. So we won't charge a fee to the projects. It'll just be that deposit fee that we already charge. So the way that we'll make our money is just by charging that deposit fee that we already charge on our platforms. And then that'll be kind of how we generate revenue. And then as we expand, we might look at different revenue models, but that's how it'll be at first.
No, like I said, I like the idea, and you might be starting something new here because I'm sure there'll be more to follow after. But yeah, I mean, it's difficult enough already to define all these different things. So if you just go on one DeFi platform and it's like, oh, like I literally
It's
have,
all here for
not,
me.
yeah, I got different farms from different places on the same platform that the community likes, of course. If the community likes it or whatever and it's working, then I'm definitely down for it. So again, folks, this is Libre DeFi. I'm going to check and make sure we don't have any last minute questions or comments. There we go. I would say, what would you like to leave us on, Julian?
Yeah, just honestly, first of all, thanks for your time. I mean, I love doing this stuff. I talk a lot, but when I get these opportunities, I really, I'm really passionate about this stuff. So I appreciate you having me on. And yeah, like I said, I mean, we're super, super transparent. Anybody who's watching now who might have reservations or who has questions, just come into the Telegram and talk to us. Like I said, I'm known to do some voice calls with the community as well. So, I'll always be there to answer any questions you have. So yeah, we're pretty open team and open community. So pop on and pop on in and say hi.
There we go. And again, we will share all those links in the description, folks. This is Libre DeFi, your complete multi-chain decentralized ecosystem. I'm excited because every time we talk to a DeFi project, you all are like coming up with something new. Where it's like, oh, you don't got to do this anymore. No, you don't got to do this no more.
Yeah,
and it's like we're inching closer and closer. And you're right. Like this is us inching closer and closer to what our ideal DeFi space is. Like, and I get some of the questions about the contracts, but right now it's not going to happen overnight. Not until you do get those killer apps or killer protocols. And this might be one where it's like, no, they've been doing it right for the last 4 or 5 years. This is what we're using. This is what it is. So I can't wait to see the growth in the building. And like, this is why I'm interested in the space, because I said on the show today, I actually use DeFi, like actually use the mechanisms and the technology. So if these type of things work, then it's like, hey, there's another thing I can add to the toolkit to where I can move the way I want to move and I can't be stopped. So I can appreciate the hard work your team's putting in over there.
Thank you,
folks, this is LibreDeFi.io. I'll put all those links in the description. Make sure you smash that like and share if you are interested in these DeFi projects. And of course, if you missed the live stream, leave us some questions and comments in the chat box after the show. We'll be sure to get back to you. Thanks as always, and we will see you all tomorrow with some more news. Cheers.